If we could have your attention, please. If everybody would please rise as the veterans march in, followed by Gibson City American Legion Post 568, who will present the colors. Please remain standing as 5th grade elementary students Adeline Bielfeld, Elijah Henning, Sean Stick, and Lila Young lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Immediately after the Pledge of Allegiance, the GCMS Concert Choir will sing our national anthem. You may be seated. In what has become one of the great traditions of the GCMS community, we welcome everyone to our Veterans Day ceremony. This event was started in 2010 with the purpose to first and foremost recognize and honor our veterans while also educating our students on what November 11th means to Americans. It is a special day for our student body, our staff, for the people of GCMS, but most importantly and most deserving, an honor for our veterans. We now have a reading from GCMS senior Addie Farmer on the origins of Veterans Day.
In 1918, on the 11th hour of the 11th day in the 11th month, the world rejoiced and celebrated. After 4 years of bitter war, an armistice was signed. The war to end all wars was over. November 11th, 1919 was set aside as Armistice Day in the United States to remember the sacrifices that men and women made during World War I in order to ensure a lasting peace. On Armistice Day, soldiers who survived the war marched in a parade through their hometowns. Politicians and veteran officers gave speeches and held ceremonies of thanks for the peace they had won. Congress voted Armistice Day a federal holiday in 1938, 20 years after the war ended. But Americans realized that the previous war would not be the last one. World War II began the following year, and nations great and small again participated in a bloody struggle. After the Second World War, Armistice Day continued to be observed on November 11th. In 1953, townspeople in Emporia, Kansas, called the holiday Veterans Day, in gratitude to the veterans in their town. Soon after, Congress passed a bill introduced by Kansas congressmen renaming the federal holiday to Veterans Day. In 1971, President Nixon declared it a federal holiday on the second Monday in November. Veterans Day honors all American veterans, both living and dead. It is intended to thank veterans for dedicated and loyal service to their country. November 11th of each year is the day that we ensure veterans know we deeply appreciate the sacrifices they have made in their lives to keep our country free.
Next, we have Chloe Jarks, also a senior at GCMS, who will read a poem titled The Soldier Poem.
There is discipline in a soldier, you can see it when he walks. There is honor in a soldier, you hear it when he talks. There is courage in a soldier, you can see it in his eyes. There is loyalty in a soldier that he will not compromise. There is something in a soldier that makes him stand apart. There is strength in a soldier that beats from his heart. A soldier isn't a title any man can be hired to do. A soldier is the soul of that man buried deep inside of you. A soldier's job isn't finished after an 8-hour day or a 40-hour week. A soldier is always a soldier, even when he sleeps. A soldier serves his country first, and his life is left behind. A soldier has a sacrifice, what comes first in a civilian's mind. If you are a civilian, I am saying this to you. Next time you see a soldier, remember what they do. A soldier is the reason our land is home of the free. A soldier is the one that is brave protecting you and me. If you are a soldier, I am saying this to you. Thank God for every soldier. Thank God for what you do.
Next, we have presentations of the branches, which will be introduced by GCMS 8th grade middle school students. Each presentation will be followed with musical performances by our GCMS band and choir, led by Mr. Kyle Wrenchen and Miss Haley Monreal. We would like any veteran to please stand as their respective branches' service song is performed. First is Judd Berry with the United States Air Force.
Initially part of the United States Army, the United States Air Force was formed as a separate branch of the military in September 1947 under the National Security Act of 1947. The primary mission of the Air Force is to defend the United States and its interests through exploitation of air and space. To accomplish this mission, the Air Force operates fighter aircraft, tanker aircraft, light and heavy bomber aircraft, transport aircraft, and helicopters which are used mainly for rescue of downed aircrew and special operations missions. Currently, there are around 65,000 commissioned officers on active duty in the Air Force, and about 265 enlisted members. At this time, we'd like to ask any current or former members of the Air Force to please stand and be recognized.
Next is Case Jester, who will present the United States Army.
The United States Army is the main ground force of the United States. The Army's main function is to protect and defend the United States and its interests by the way of ground troops, armor, artillery, attack helicopters, tactical nuclear weapons, etc. The Army is the oldest U.S. military service, officially established by the Continental Congress on June 14, 1775. The Army is also the largest U.S. military service officially. There are approximately 93,000 officers and around 390,000 enlisted members in active duty. At this time, we'd like to ask any current or former members of the United States to please stand and be recognized.
Next is Brady Lowe, who will present the United States Marine Corps. And I'm not trying to ruffle feathers, but as the son of a proud Marine, I would like to mention also that yesterday was the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps.
The United States Marines are often referred to as the infantry of the Navy. Marines specialize in amphibious operations. In other words, their primary specialty is to assault, capture, and control beachheads, which then provide a route to attack the enemy from almost any direction. The Marines were officially established in 1775 by the Continental Congress to act as a landing force for the United States Navy. In 1798, however, Congress established the Marine Corps as a separate service, while amphibious operations are their primary specialty. In recent years, the Marines have expanded into other ground combat operations as well. With the exception of the Coast Guard, the Marines are also the smallest service. They are approximately 22,000 officers and about 160 enlisted personnel on active duty in the Marines. At this time, we like to ask any current or former members of the United States Marines to please stand and be recognized.
Lana Rochelle will present the United States Navy.
Like the Army, the United States Navy was officially established by the Continental Congress in 1775. The Navy's primary mission is to maintain the freedom of the seas. The Navy makes it possible for the United States to use the seas where and when our nation interest requires it. In addition, in times of conflict, the Navy helps to supplement Air Force air power. Navy aircraft carriers can often deploy to areas where fixed runways are impossible. The Navy is also primarily responsible for transporting Marines to areas of conflict. The active duty Navy has about 55,000 officers and around 290,000 enlisted personnel. At this time, we would like to ask any current or former members of the Navy to please stand and be recognized.
Lastly, we have the United States Coast Guard, which will be presented by Lexi Farmer.
The United States Coast Guard was originally established as a revenue cutter service in 1790. In 1915, it was reformed as the United States Coast Guard under the control of Treasury Department. Legislation passed in 2002 transferred the Coast Guard to the Department of Homeland Security. In peacetime, the Coast Guard is primarily concerned with law enforcement, boating safety, sea rescue, and illegal immigration control. However, the President of the United States can transfer part or all of the Coast Guard to the Department of the Navy in times of conflict. The Coast Guard consists of ships, boats, aircraft, and shore stations that conduct a variety of missions. The Coast Guard is the smallest military service with about 42,000 personnel on active duty. At this time, we'd like to ask any current or former members of the United States Coast Guard to please stand and be recognized.
thank you everyone for those presentations and for the wonderful renditions of our armed services songs. Now, if everyone could please turn your attention to the south bleachers towards our elementary school students, as elementary music director, Mr. Philip Dempsey, leads his students as they sing a piece written by Teresa Jennings titled Everyday Heroes. Our closing statement will be presented by GCMS senior Trent Weatherall. After his presentation, the high school band will play God Bless America, and everyone is encouraged to sing along as they perform.
As we move forward, please remember the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, those who have served and those who are currently serving our great nation. The freedoms we have and enjoy, the freedoms that make America great, are made possible only because of the dedicated service and countless acts of sacrifice of our servicemen and women. Veterans Day is a dedication to those who have served, but think of these soldiers after you leave this ceremony today. Express your appreciation for their commitment by honoring the freedoms you have. Send a note or letter to a soldier. Donate to one of the charities that provide assistance to veterans, or simply say thank you. Demonstrate your appreciation so our veterans understand how important they are to each and every one of us. On behalf of the student body of the GCMS School District, we would like to thank the veterans here today and also those that live in our hearts. To the grandparents, mothers and fathers, aunts and uncles, cousins, and friends of the students here at GCMS that have served our country, we say thank you for all that you've done and what you mean to us. Would you now please stand and sing along as the GCMS High School Band plays God Bless America and our veterans exit the gymnasium.
As we close today, we would like to thank Committee Chair Mr. Kyle Bielfeldt, the administration of GCMS, the GCMS music departments, and the work of our IT leaders, Walker Willis and Mike Zarin. Thank you for your attendance today, and thank you for your service. As a final tribute, will you please remain standing as the veterans process out of the gym.